Episode 8, The Real Value of Your Time, Bob's Lawn Care Service, and Grilled Pineapple-Teriyaki Chicken Sliders. Stick around!
Welcome to Business Edge Radio, the show that gives you tips, tricks, tools, and techniques about how to build a more profitable business, while at the same time creating your perfect lifestyle. It's a show about working less and living more. A few golden nuggets, a little bit of wisdom, and over 35 years of business experience to help you keep your edge. Lifestyle entrepreneur, best-selling author, internationally renowned business speaker, and daddy of three, Mitche Graf brings the heat with actionable techniques for building the business and lifestyle of your dreams. Now your host, Mitche Graf.
Well, hello there, Unleashed Tribe, and welcome to another episode of Business Edge Radio. I will be your soothsayer of all things business, your prognosticator, and your host. My name is Mitche Graf, and on today's show, we're going to be covering a topic that I feel sometimes gets overlooked by most people, not because it's not important, but because we get caught up in the shtuff that makes up our businesses or our job responsibilities. Today, I want to talk about the value that we place on our job performance, on our time, and on our skill sets. I believe that each one of us wishes we had more time in our days. If someone were to ask us how things were going, my bet is you would say something like, "Man, I've been so busy," or "I don't seem to have enough time to get everything done." On Friday afternoon, we're filled with excitement about all the wonderful things we're going to accomplish on the weekend. Then Sunday night rolls around and we wonder where the weekend went. And there's two types of people on this planet: those who squander their time and those who make every second count. The first type simply waits for time to pass. For them, the time-lapse is often an annoyance that they simply can't wait to end. The example is anxiously waiting for the workday to be done during the week. The second type of person makes every passing second count instead of just waiting for the sands to slip through the narrow funnel. They live with an almost pathological intent and never allow time to pass unnoticed. For them, time-lapse is a living process, and they always strive to become active participants in it. Effective time management is the one thing that separates top performers from the herd and allows them to reach higher ground. Now, there's a profound difference between time management and not caring about anything beyond your current interest. And while we've developed a neat way of tracking time, it's beyond our capabilities to absolutely control it. We can, however, induce a certain necessary level of control over all the chaos that's in our lives. This means controlling that most precious asset, time, to the best of our abilities. We can't earn more of it, no matter what we do. We can't save it like money or commodities, and it's slipping away with every breath we take. The only thing we can do in between those breaths is controlling how and on what we spend our time. A few weeks back, we talked about how to apply the 80-20 principle, or Paredo's principle, to our own lives. And again, it refers to the fact that 80% of our results are derived from the top 20% of our daily activities. And the biggest challenge that we have is to identify that 20% and then work very methodically day after day to get rid of the other 80% of our activities. Earlier in my career, I made a living in the world of professional photography, and I was able to travel the world teaching the finer points of business. Today, it seems like everybody and their brothers, friends, aunts, sisters, uncles, cousin is a professional photographer, which has put a big crunch on those who have been professionally trained. Weekend warriors and soccer moms have taken the industry by storm with their $500 cameras and smartphones. My wife has an iPhone that has portrait mode that takes beautiful pictures, worthy enough to hang on our wall, actually. Professional photographers have become slaves to their computers and the workflows. Image processing that used to be handled by professional color labs is now being done by the photographers themselves, which adds significantly more hours to their already long work week. In photography, only 3 things make you money: photographing, selling, and marketing. That's it. Retouching a digital file doesn't fall under any of those categories, but this digital process is consuming many pros around the world. Why? Because they think it saves them money, plus they know how to do it, which is a deadly combination. It's easy for us to dispose of things that we dread and despise, but what about the things that we're attached to? This makes it a lot harder because our emotions are involved. Photographers who spend 8 hours on Sunday editing and retouching files from Saturday's wedding are attached to an outdated method of running a business. I'll tell you, in the open market, the job of a digital retoucher pays $15 to $20 an hour. If a professional photographer were to be asked, "Are you willing to work for $15 to $20 an hour?" they would laugh in your face. Well, if they do their own retouching, that's exactly what they're doing. Instead of outsourcing the job to someone to free up their valuable time, they choose to do it themselves because they're emotionally attached to the digital process or mistakenly thinking that they're saving money. Can you think of some tasks that perhaps you are emotionally attached to in your business that you know you shouldn't be doing? Spend some time with a good cup of coffee and brainstorm for a while. In today's business environment, there's 3 levels of what I call time value. Number 1, $15 to $20 an hour work, which are tasks that keep your business moving forward, like answering the phone, responding to emails, processing orders, assembling products, etc. Number 2 is $50 an hour work, which is the day-to-day management of your business, setting goals and sales objectives, personnel management and training, etc. And then there's the $500 an hour work, which is constructing the long-range goals of your company, creating the broad strokes, so to speak, and crafting the overall vision. And this is where you should be spending a majority of your precious time. I can tell you without hesitation that doing $15 an hour work is not what any business owner should be doing with their time, whatever industry they're in. Here's an exercise that I want you to undertake this week. I encourage you to sit down and write out a list of tasks that fall into each of these categories. Write down your business's $15 an hour work, your $50 an hour work, and your $500 an hour work. This may be a little bit painful for some of you, but that's okay. It's all part of being an efficient executive. Remember, just because you know how to do something doesn't mean that you should be doing that task. And I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, can the task be eliminated? Perhaps there's activities that you do or your staff does that simply can go away forever, and it won't change your ability to deliver high-quality products and services to your customers. Number 2, can the task be delegated to someone else, either within your organization or perhaps a virtual assistant or private contractor? For one-man bands out there, you have a tremendous treasure trove of resources available on the internet that can free up a large chunk of your time so you can focus on the high-value items that bring you the biggest result. And question number 3, can the task be automated? Maybe you find yourself constantly replying to emails, and you include a long-winded URL or email address in the body of every email you send out. Using something as simple as a text expander will make you much more efficient, which in turn will free up more time during your day. Once this exercise is done, you should have a list of tasks that can be eliminated, delegated, or automated, leaving you with only the creme de la creme of tasks left for you to hone in on. This way of thinking may challenge the way you're used to running your business, but I can tell you, your business will be revolutionized by quantum leaps if you begin to entertain the idea of redesigning your thought processes. When it comes to managing my time on a daily basis, I like to engage in what I call the POD system, P-O-D. Every activity is entered into a category, assigned a block of time, and placed into my schedule. One trick that I always do at the end of each week is to sit down and plan the next week. I have some things that are on my schedule book for weeks and months in advance, and I'm sure your schedule books look much the same way. But the day-to-day tasks that are necessary to keep the ship afloat are where the ultimate success lies. On Monday morning, I have a game plan already in place and can be much more productive than simply allowing the wind to dictate where my time is spent. For example, the first 2 hours of my day is always my time, and the first 2 hours of your day should be your time. This includes things like listening to music, listening to a podcast, reading a book, hitting the treadmill, doing your yoga routine, drinking a good cup of coffee, and reviewing your goals for the day. Whatever it takes to get your juices flowing. For me, this pod of time is embedded in my schedule book, and I try not to allow anything to interrupt me during this time. If at all possible, I make sure I do not get distracted with emails, texts, social media timelines, or other notifications, and so on. It's very important that this first pod of the day be completely controlled by you and that you're not reacting to anything that the world is dishing out or asking from you. In the Give to the World pod, I have a predefined list of objectives written down ahead of time. It may be from 8 to 9 a.m., where I reply to emails, return phone calls, reply to social media requests, and so on. From 9 to 11, you can schedule meetings with staff members, staff training, budget projections, P&L analysis, and so on. 11 to 1 can be for outside meetings with customers, prospects, networking groups, and the like, until the end of your predetermined workday. One thing I can recommend you not do for your sanity and your work-life balance is to allow your day to go into a float until whatever time it feels right to shut the lights off. I can promise you that your work will still be there tomorrow. Mark it in your book and make sure it happens. It's as simple as that. Now, this strategy is dependent upon asserting your ability to keep outside influences from interrupting you. If you're in the middle of your personal pod, don't spend time on the phone looking at work emails or checking online orders. If you're in your revenue pod, your working pod, don't allow yourself to be distracted with checking your Facebook timeline or looking up a recipe for tonight's dessert. It's like putting out a virtual do not disturb sign around your brain. Then you work like crazy to stay on the course. Always keep in mind the nagging question. Does the activity or task help you attain your ultimate lifestyle goals? Utilize this pod system or in your scheduling app, and don't forget to limit duration of each pod. Continue by adding everything else that you might plan for that day. And in the evening, take a few moments and rewind your day. See what you missed. See what you miscalculated. Understand your routines. Recall all those seemingly insignificant events that you failed to predict that caused time losses. And after a while, you'll start noticing how a vast number of these events seem to repeat themselves day after day. In order to become a master of your schedule, you will need to be laser focused on the most important tasks that bring the biggest results. Your own 80-20 list. We'll be back for more of today's episode right after these words from our wonderful marketing partners. Hi there, this is Mitche Graf, the host of Business Edge Radio. Would you do me a couple of very big favors? First, I invite you to subscribe, rate, and review the show on iTunes. This will help other forward thinkers just like you discover the show. Second, I ask that you share the show on your social media platforms. And third, I would love it if you connected with us on social at Unleashed Tribe on Facebook and Instagram, or log on to powermarketing101.com to find more great resources. If you could do this for me, you would be a superhero in my book, and I would be eternally grateful. This episode is being brought to you by the School of Hard Knocks. If you're anything like me, you know many people who have wounds and scars from battles won and lost in their life. We've all heard it said before that, oh, he or she is a student at the School of Hard Knocks, or the best lessons I've ever learned are from the School of Hard Knocks. Well, this prestigious university has some of the best alumni in the entire world, and the curriculum is more difficult than Stanford Medical School. You can't apply for admission, and you don't get to pick your classes. We all know that special person who always seems to be hit with adversity and obstacles, but always comes out the other end with a smile. Now, there's a special gift that is unlike anything they've ever received. As we all know, the School of Hard Knocks has one of the most difficult curriculum of any school in the world, and you now can give the gift of a PhD from this prestigious university. This authentic-looking diploma is printed on the same high-quality paper that the top schools in the world use for their diplomas, and comes with an official gold foil seal that will look great framed in any room. Signed by both the president of Perpetual Hard Knocks as well as the dean of adversity, this PhD degree will light up any room and become the center of conversation. The diploma reads PhD in Street Smarts and Learning the Hard Way, with a minor in Picking Yourself Up by the Bootstraps. This hard-fought degree is indeed a gift that money cannot buy. Get one for your spouse, for your boss, your parent, your best friend. Give them the gift that money can't buy today. For a limited time, when you place your order at www.schoolofhardknocks.net, you'll receive a special Business Edge Radio discount of 20% at checkout when you enter the code word EDGE. Once again, 20% off your first order when you use the code EDGE at checkout. And to sweeten the pot just a little bit more, I'm also going to include a complimentary digital copy of High Voltage Branding, Go From Ordinary to Extraordinary, as my gift to you. www.schoolofhardknocks.net. That's www.schoolofhardknocks.net. Get one for that person in your life who seems to have everything, or heck, get one for yourself. You've earned it. In today's business world, it is vitally important that you understand what I call the 7 pillars of business success, which are lifestyle design, time management, branding, sales, marketing, pricing, and social media. Regardless of what industry you're in, and whether you have a brick and mortar or you're only online, having a solid foundation in these skill sets will set you up for success down the road. And to personally help you with your journey, I've come out with the Business Edge podcast, which you're listening to right this second, and I've also written a book that I can highly recommend called Business Basics Bootcamp, the ultimate crash course, now available on Amazon.com, and will give you the 30,000-foot view of all these topics and many, many more. You know, reading is something that is slowly being replaced by videos and audiobooks or just scrolling through your newsfeed on social media, but I've always found reading to be kind of an escape from whatever is happening in the world. This book will help you slow down just a little bit so you can get your business house in order, so to speak, and get your creative juices a-flowing. Log on to Amazon.com today and get your copy of Business Basics Bootcamp, the ultimate crash course. You can search my name, Mitche Graf, or search the title of the book. In the dog-eat-dog world of business success, the weak will perish and the strong will survive. Which will you be? I want you to meet my longtime friend, Bob. Bob's an entrepreneur who started out doing things the hard way, but then he turned smart instead. We're going to use him as a real-life example of how a single man can disrupt a global paradigm. Just like you, Bob always dreamed of owning his own business. Eventually, he quit his job and invested some money starting his own professional lawn care company. He purchased a new lawnmower, rakes, wheelbarrows, gloves, and all other items needed to be successful with his new venture. At that point, Bob was the only employee and in charge of not only mowing the lawns, but the marketing, the networking, the sales, the website design, the payables, other tasks, everything was on Bob's shoulders. To his own surprise, Bob managed to pick up several clients over a short period of time and eventually nearly filled his entire schedule with recurring jobs every week. Not bad for a new business, but Bob knew how to work hard and smart. One day, he received a phone call from the local shopping mall asking if he'd be interested in taking over the contract for their landscaping maintenance. After meeting with management, Bob figured that he would need to spend nearly all his time during the week at the mall just to fulfill the contract. That meant that all of his other clients would have to wait, and he did not want to do that. On the flip side, the contract would exactly double his weekly revenue. So Bob had a hard time with the decision. Let's say that there's a big hopper or a vat, and there's 3 different sections: delegation, elimination, and automation. For the sake of argument, let's put Bob's new opportunity into this hopper. Number 1, can Bob delegate the job to someone else? Well, he could potentially hire a new employee to handle only the mall contract and handle private residences himself. That's definitely a possibility. Number 2, can he simply turn down the contract and eliminate the possibility altogether? Well, absolutely, but it depends on what Bob's ultimate goals are for growing his business. And number 3, can he streamline or automate the task? Bob could purchase a larger lawnmower, allowing him to finish his jobs much quicker, thus freeing up valuable time to handle more work. And that's a great possibility as well. When Bob sat down to look at all his options, he remembered that his ultimate goal was to expand his business and hire more employees, thus giving him more time to grow the business. But most importantly, this strategy would give him more time to spend with his family. Hence, Bob decided to bring on another employee and purchased a bigger lawnmower to handle the larger jobs. This freed up more time and allowed him to pick up 5 more commercial contracts. The bottom line is this: simply asking straightforward questions can potentially revolutionize your business. Therefore, give yourself the creative freedom and passion to think out of the box. You'll be amazed at what can transpire. Today, Bob lives and works his version of the 24/7 lifestyle. And remember what that definition is: 24 hours a week, 7 months a year. Basically, you will be able to get twice as much done in half the amount of time, and I call this 4Xing your life. It's a very straightforward and simple formula, but one that will require constant attention if you are going to become a master at it. By automating, delegating, and eliminating your daily tasks in an uber efficient way, you're going to be able to free up a substantial amount of time in your day. This time can be reinvested into the 20% of the tasks that bring you the 80% of your positive results, or can be spent doing other things. Your choice. When I was younger, I accidentally stumbled upon a book called Raving Fans, a revolutionary approach to customer service by Ken Blanchard and Sheldon Bowles. You probably know Ken's name from his other hugely successful book called The 1 Minute Manager. Now, this book completely changed the way I viewed what I call the lost art of providing great customer service to our customers. It was the foundation for a philosophy that I developed called delivering 6-star legendary service. We've all seen the reviews for world-class restaurants and hotels claiming their 5-star awards, and this philosophy asks the question, what does it hurt to give a little bit extra? The old saying that goes, under-promise and over-deliver is more true today than ever before. In the book, which will only take you about an hour from cover to cover, states that your customers are only satisfied because their expectations have become so low and because nobody else is doing any better. Just having satisfied customers is not good enough anymore. And if you really want a booming business, you have to create raving fans. The book, in a nutshell, is the advice given to a new area manager on his very first day on the job, in an extraordinary business book that will help everyone, regardless of the business that you're in. It's written in the parable style of The 1 Minute Manager, and Raving Fans uses a brilliantly simple and charming story to teach how to define a vision, learn what a customer really wants, institute effective systems, and make raving fan service a constant feature, not just another program of the month. I believe that America's in the midst of a service crisis that has left a wake of disillusioned customers from coast to coast. Raving Fans includes startling tips and innovative techniques that can help anyone create a revolution in any workplace and turn their customers into raving, spending fans. You can find this book, as well as many other incredible reads, at powermarketing101.com/hotlist. That's powermarketing101.com/hotlist. Now it's time for Cooking Corner with Mitch, where I share with you a tantalizing recipe that you can try at home this week. Well, today, I'm going to get you outside to enjoy some fresh air and the birds chirping and a nice cold beverage in your hand. Today, we're going to be making grilled Pineapple-Teriyaki chicken sliders. There's no better smell than something grilling on a lazy Saturday afternoon, or a Wednesday, or a Monday, or just about any day of the week. Start with a nice glass of iced tea. That's for you, not for the recipe. I want you to combine the juice of 1 fresh lemon, the juice of 1 fresh lime, along with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of teriyaki sauce, about 1/2 cup of pineapple juice, and a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Get yourself some of that there boneless, skinless chicken breasts, cut them in half, and get yourself a fork and stab the breasts all over so the marinade that you're going to create can get deep inside the meat. Then drop the chicken in the marinade, cover it, and let it stand for at least an hour or so. The longer you let it sit, the more flavor that can soak in. So make sure you give yourself plenty of time. Refill your iced tea and throw the chicken on the preheated grill until perfectly cooked. And right before they're done, grill up some pineapple slices and a few Hawaiian rolls or slider buns. Then you place your toasted buns on a plate, slather with some teriyaki pineapple aioli, and aioli basically means flavored mayonnaise, that's it. So for this aioli, I want you to take about 1/2 cup of mayonnaise along with 2 tablespoons of the mixture that you made earlier. I recommend you pull this out before you place your raw chicken breasts in there so you don't get any of that wonderful raw chicken juices in your aioli. Add a nice slice of sweet onion if you like, a lettuce leaf, a slice of that grilled pineapple, and of course your chicken. Serve them with the side of fresh fruit from your local farmer's market, and you have yourself the perfect backyard Pineapple-Teriyaki chicken slider. Well, that will do it for this edition of Business Edge Radio. My parting shot today is this: believe you can, and you are halfway there. Teddy Roosevelt. Until next time, this is Mitche Graf reminding you to live with passion. I'll catch you later. This episode is being brought to you by the School of Hard Knocks. If you're anything like me, you know many people who have wounds and scars from battles won and lost in their life. We've all heard it said before that, oh, he or she is a student at the School of Hard Knocks, or the best lessons I've ever learned are from the School of Hard Knocks. Well, this prestigious university has some of the best alumni in the entire world, and the curriculum is more difficult than Stanford Medical School. You can't apply for admission, and you don't get to pick your classes. We all know that special person who always seems to be hit with adversity and obstacles, but always comes out the other end with a smile. Now, there's a special gift that is unlike anything they've ever received. As we all know, the School of Hard Knocks has one of the most difficult curriculum of any school in the world, and you now can give the gift of a PhD from this prestigious university. This authentic-looking diploma is printed on the same high-quality paper that the top schools in the world use for their diplomas, and comes with an official gold foil seal that will look great framed in any room. Signed by both the president of Perpetual Hard Knocks as well as the dean of adversity, this PhD degree will light up any room and become the center of conversation. The diploma reads PhD in Street Smarts and Learning the Hard Way, with a minor in Picking Yourself Up by the Bootstraps. This hard-fought degree is indeed a gift that money cannot buy. Get one for your spouse, for your boss, your parent, your best friend. Give them the gift that money can't buy today. For a limited time, when you place your order at www.schoolofhardknocks.net, you'll receive a special Business Edge Radio discount of 20% at checkout when you enter the code word EDGE. Once again, 20% off your first order when you use the code EDGE at checkout. And to sweeten the pot just a little bit more, I'm also going to include a complimentary digital copy of High Voltage Branding, Go From Ordinary to Extraordinary, as my gift to you. www.schoolofhardknocks.net. That's www.schoolofhardknocks.net. Get one for that person in your life who seems to have everything, or heck, get one for yourself. You've earned it. In today's business world, it is vitally important that you understand what I call the 7 pillars of business success, which are lifestyle design, time management, branding, sales, marketing, pricing, and social media. Regardless of what industry you're in, and whether you have a brick and mortar or you're only online, having a solid foundation in these skill sets will set you up for success down the road. And to personally help you with your journey, I've come out with the Business Edge podcast, which you're listening to right this second, and I've also written a book that I can highly recommend called Business Basics Bootcamp, the Ultimate Crash Course, now available on Amazon.com, and will give you the 30,000-foot view of all these topics and many, many more. You know, reading is something that is slowly being replaced by videos and audiobooks or just scrolling through your newsfeed on social media, but I've always found reading to be kind of an escape from whatever is happening in the world. This book will help you slow down just a little bit so you can get your business house in order, so to speak, and get your creative juices a-flowing. Log on to Amazon.com today and get your copy of Business Basics Bootcamp, the Ultimate Crash Course. You can search my name, Mitche Graf, or search the title of the book. In the dog-eat-dog world of business success, the weak will perish and the strong will survive. Which will you be?
Thanks for hanging out with Business Edge Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to subscribe, rate, and review. Then hop on over to www.mitchegraf.com to get even more meat and potatoes. We also invite you to follow the show at facebook.com/Unleashed Tribe. The most valuable asset that any of us has is our time. And we thank you for choosing to spend some of your precious time with us.